All right, and we are set. Yay! Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I know a bunch of you have your books, and I love to see them. I love to see everybody's book. If anybody knows how to take a screenshot, will you do that for me and send it to me or post it on Facebook? Actually, send it to me. Don't post it on Facebook because there's too many faces that might not want to be on Facebook. Just send it to me from my own personal smiles. Yay. Okay. So we are going to start today by basically talking for 5 minutes. And I told everybody I promise not to talk too much because I try to do as much energy clearing as possible in my classes. And we're going to go through a few different things today. I want to try, especially for my newbies today, to give you a sampling of the techniques. That doesn't mean I'm going to teach you the techniques. In fact, I'm not going to do that because you all have the book and I don't want to be one of those people that repeats everything you could read. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to be using several techniques to actually clear stuck energy from the body. When you go through the book and you read how to do each technique, you'll be familiar with it and you'll be able to more easily apply it to everything that I ask you to apply it to in the book. Does that make sense? So you're going to actually be clearing energy today instead of just learning tap here, do this, say this, because it's more helpful for us to do the energy clearing together, and then it will increase your comfort level when you're doing stuff on your own. And my goal with this book and with everybody here and everybody that I teach is to learn to integrate these techniques into your life and to integrate these techniques into your day. So instead of feeling like you need to do an hour or 2 hours a few times a week of energy work, I would rather you get comfortable with the technique so that you can do 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, some days 5 minutes a day if that's all you have. But my goal for you is to get really comfortable with the techniques so that you can just do them here and there quickly and that you don't have to make tons of time. You will have to make a little time, but not make tons of time. Sit down, have everything organized. My work is really, really simple in terms of just once you get a hang of it, you'll be able to use it and you won't even need the book eventually. It's a book's kind of training wheels. The book is set up like a workshop essentially. So you'll go through the whole book, you'll learn techniques and you'll learn how to clear various things, stuck emotional energy in your body. But then eventually you will be able to apply those techniques to anything you're feeling in the moment, any pattern you recognize in yourself, even if it's something that's not in the book. It's going to be a process of understanding these techniques and then being able to use them so quickly and easily that you're not going to need to look at like any of the diagrams in the book or anything. It's one of those things where it feels impossible at first, but eventually you'll be emailing me going, can't believe how easy this is. So here's what we're going to cover today. We're first going to use some EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is tapping on different points on the face and the body to clear basically what the core of depression is. And we're going to start with working on that energy, which is suppression or depression of self. Depression in all instances from an energetic perspective is, I hear somebody that's not on mute. Could you find yourself if you can and just mute yourself? Thank you. Is the depression of self, is being buried under stress, emotional patterns, traumas, just the crap of life that we get sort of buried under, and our true selves get depressed. And I explain in the book that the word depressed actually means to push down. And when we feel depressed, this is what's happening to us. Our spirit, our true self is being pushed down. Does that resonate with anybody? That it feels like you're down there somewhere under all this stuff, but you can't get to it, right? So the process that we go through in the book and the process we're going to start together today is releasing the burden, the stuff that has buried us so we can emerge. And we're going to do some of that using EFT or emotional freedom technique. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a technique called Thymus test and tap, which everybody loves, to release very specific emotions from the body. I have chosen the techniques that would be most beneficial for us all to clear today intuitively and using muscle testing, which you will learn in the book. But the specific emotions we're going to be clearing together today using Thymus test and tap are anger, grief, fear, traumatized. Hold on, there's a big list. I got to scoot my page over. Heavy, unsupported, lonely, and conflicted. I'm going to walk you through all of it, but when I tuned in, those were the emotions that I was getting would be beneficial for all of us to clear. So we're going to work on that, which I think will be really helpful. Did anybody kind of feel like, oh yeah, I could use letting go of some of those emotions? Okay. The next thing we're going to do is also clear energy around feeling like you can't heal, or at least it can't be easy. And has anybody been at this so long that now it almost feels like ungraspable? Like, how is this going to happen? Okay. Interestingly enough, that feeling comes from experience, but that experience also sometimes comes from a belief in the subconscious mind that that's true, that everybody else has an easier time, that you can't heal, that you don't have what it takes. And so in many of my classes, I work through clearing this energy with people just because it's so important to get your subconscious to really truly be on board with healing. So I'll explain a little bit more of that when we do it. We're going to be using the sweep technique to clear that. And finally, and this is something I don't usually do on classes, I'm doing special for this class, we're going to work on feeling or believing that other people have more power over you than you have over yourself. Who resonates with that? If you're an empath, which I talk about in the book, you might feel like the emotions and feelings and problems of those around you really pull you down or depress you. So we're going to do some work on regaining our energetic and emotional power in terms of really being the driver of our own lives versus letting the emotions that we absorb from others or the worries that we have about others drive our lives. Okay. I know that sounds like a full plate. Is anybody feeling overwhelmed at all? We're going to clear. You're going to see how easy it is. No, everybody here is like, I am ready, girl. Okay. A couple people feel a little overwhelmed. I'm going to walk you all through it. I try to make it as lighthearted as possible. I always tell people, even if you cry, we'll have you laughing by the end. So if there's a few tears, no biggie. Just the only requirement we have is water. That's it. And I'm going to do one more check to make sure everybody's on mute, and then we're going to go and start. I can hear not everybody's on mute, but I can never see who it is. So just give me 2 seconds to do that. Mike, you're my assistant here. So if you see who it is, let me know. Most people, I just hear one person wrestling around. Sorry, I just want to find them because otherwise it says Sue S is unmuted, except I see a Sue S who is muted. So,
I see Nikki who's unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Nikki, could you try to mute yourself? I did mute Nikki before.
And someone, I'm going to mispronounce it, Diamante.
Okay, thank you very much. Look at all my helpers. You're all hired. It's so hard to find these. And they don't even know, they don't usually know they're unmuted. I don't know how this happens, but okay, perfect. It sounds pretty quiet. Okay. If you're one of those people and you can't figure out how to mute yourself, just repeat in your head when we do all of this out loud, so you won't be echoing to everybody. Okay, so we're going to start with EFT, emotional freedom technique. Who is familiar with emotional freedom technique? Keep your hand up if you do not like it. Okay, I have a few people. I was one of those people, so don't be ashamed to say that. Okay, so basically we're going to be doing emotional freedom technique, what I describe the Amy way, which is super simple, super casual. We're not going to be worried about talking about the right things, saying the right words. Emotional freedom technique is a tapping technique that allows us to tap and talk at the same time while we release energy from the body. The reason we're talking about what's stuck emotionally or physically and tapping at the same time is because we are bringing it up and then we are tapping to neutralize or release the energy from our system. Now, if you learned EFT the sort of traditional way, I thought when I first learned it, it was a little bit crazy and it was too hard. And I was like, how am I supposed to remember this? So I'm going to teach you a really, really easy way. Basically, I go through it all in the book, but you're going to see when we do it, how easy it is. We are going to be talking about the core energy of depression, which is I feel depressed, suppressed, and buried. I'm going to come up with all the words because I know most of the things that people feel linked to depression. And you're just going to tap along and repeat after me. Okay. So the first tapping point is right here on the side of your hand. If you are unable for some reason to tap physically, you can just close your eyes and imagine tapping. It's a weird thing that works because your thoughts can help move energy. So go ahead and tap here and repeat after me. Even though I feel so buried, so pushed down, so suppressed, I give my body permission to release this stuck energy so I can feel good again. Okay, keep tapping there, even though, and here what we're doing is we're just stating the problem and we're telling our body to let it go. That's it. At the same time, we're tapping to help release the energy. Even though I feel so bogged down, so heavy. I don't even know what it is anymore. But I give my body permission to release this stuff so that I can feel better. Okay, and the exact words or the exact format is in the book, but I'm just going over it here, so you just follow along with me. Even though I feel like I've gotten buried and I don't know what it is. Maybe so much stuff that's depressing and suppressing me. I choose to release this energy so that I can feel good again. Okay, so we start 3 times on the karate chop point, and the next point we go to is the top of the head. Go ahead and tap there and just repeat after me. We're going to go through all the points. Top of the head, we're going to go with, now we're just going to vent or talk about how depressed or heavy we feel. I'm going to lead you through it though. I feel so heavy. Inside of the eyebrow, which is about right here, all this depressing energy in my system. Outside of the eye, which is the corner edge, this stress that I've become buried under. Under the eye at the top of the cheekbone, it's just so much. Top lip, so many years of stuff piling up. Not if you can, if you relate to that. Chin, no wonder I feel depressed. The next point is under your collarbone on either side of your neck. Just make sure you're going under the bone, okay? All this depressing energy. Perfect. Next foot is on the side of the body, a few inches under the armpit. All this stress that has buried me. Good job. And all the rest of the points are in the lower right-hand corner of each finger now, okay? Lower right-hand corner. So lower right-hand corner of your thumb. And repeat after me. All this energy that's been suppressing my true self. Pointer finger. I don't even know what it is anymore. Middle finger. Or maybe I do, but it feels like too much. Next finger. All this heavy energy. Pinky finger. This stress on my system. Karate chop point. No wonder I feel so buried. Top of the head. No wonder I feel bogged down. Inside of the eyebrow, all this depressing energy. Outside of the eye, it's been sitting on me for a long time. Under the eye, no wonder the true me feels stuck. Top lip, all this stuff sitting on top of me. Chin, it's just too heavy. Under your collarbone, make sure you're under the bone and not on it. No wonder I feel like shit. I'm going to let you say it because it's in the book title. Side of the body. So much stuff keeping me stuck. Lower right-hand corner of the thumbnail. All this depressing energy and stress. Middle finger. No wonder it's been hard to be happy. Middle finger. Sometimes I feel so buried. Next finger, but I give my body permission. Pinky finger, to help me let this go. Karate chop point, to let this go from my body. Okay, let's take a little break. Shake your hands off. Get a drink of water if you need to. I'm already sweating. I see some of you yawning. Yawning is a good sign you're releasing. Sweating, sneezing, chills. If nothing's happening, that's okay too. A lot of people don't feel it. Tell me how you're doing in the chat box. How are you doing with the EFT? Tell me if you hate it and you're hating it. If you did hate it and you're hating it a little less. Let me know how you're going. Nose is running, lots of yawning, great, good. So what we're doing there is we're essentially letting go of stuck emotional baggage. And for those of you who are new to EFT and are into positive psychology and are worried that you're talking about quote unquote negative things, what we're doing is we're just giving a voice to the shit we feel. And in giving it a voice while we tap, we're allowing ourselves to release it. I could have you all day tapping about, I'm scared of puppies. I'm scared of kittens. It would never make it real if it wasn't already real. So I don't want you to worry that giving a voice to the truth of how you feel will make it worse. This is one of my pet peeves about much of the many trends in psychology now about always think positive and look on the bright side and you know, trust the universe, and all of those things are true and good. But if we ignore how we're actually feeling, it's not going to make it go away. Has anybody else tried that? I happen to know from an experience. So what we're doing is we're giving voice to the feelings and we're releasing, okay? For those of you who have never used the fingertip points, using the fingertip points can make the tapping about 30% more effective. A lot of people that teach it don't teach the fingertip points as a shortcut, but I'm just feeling like if you feel like crap and nothing's working, we should add the fingertips. It's only an extra couple of seconds. So I always use the fingertips. I never skip them. It does take a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it because what's the point of doing it if it might not work otherwise? So a couple of people are saying, yeah, they're yawning. They've never done it with the fingers. They feel very positive. They feel tearful. Someone's asking, when you switch to a positive statement, how does the subconscious know how to switch modes from tapping out the negative to installing the positive? Just because you're essentially leading the session. The last round or the last few tapping points I teach in the book, and I teach to just change to I can be okay, or I'm feeling better now, whatever the positive sort of wrap up is. And the body just sort of follows along. So what we're doing is essentially we're tapping on all the reality of our feelings or the negative, we're tapping them out. And then when we're ready to end, we are ending on sort of a happy note because that's okay to do. But I just want you to really tap and acknowledge the feelings that you have. There's lots of scripts on how to do this in the book, but I really wanted to do this together so you could just feel the process of EFT, which is essentially tapping and saying out loud how you feel. It's kind of improv. People always say to me, how do you know what to say? And I say, I don't. I just say whatever I feel or whatever I assume everyone else is feeling. So as long as you keep it casual and don't start worrying about what to say, the what to say is only important because you want to say the stuff that's stuck inside, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? As long as you say what you're feeling or thinking, that's perfect. That's all you need. You will do so much better than finding a YouTube script and following that. You need to say what you're feeling or thinking so that that comes up and out of the system. Good? Okay. Is everybody okay to do another exercise? All right. So we are going to work on clearing beliefs like I can't heal. Now, this can be I can't heal from depression. If you also have something else you're working with, we can tweak the belief a little bit to be more specific to you. But essentially, if you have a subconscious belief that you can't overcome X, Y, and Z, whether it be depression, anxiety, chronic illness. I see a lot of yawns, which probably means people's systems are reacting to it. That's the nervous system reacting when you yawn. If you have a core belief, a subconscious belief that you can't heal, it will actually block you from healing as you should. So that's why we're going to work on this together. And almost everybody I've ever worked with in the last decade who feels like they aren't making progress, or they do make progress and then they start to feel shitty again, it's because somewhere in their subconscious mind, they have a block, a belief that they can't heal. Does anybody consciously know or feel that they have that to some extent, that you can't heal for some reason? And it might simply be because you haven't been healing and now you're like, well, is it even possible? Most people have this to some extent. So even if you don't know consciously that you have this, I think it's really beneficial to follow along and do this work. And again, as I said, if you say something that's not true for you, it will just roll off you. Saying it is not going to make it true. So you can feel comfortable in going through this technique with us. So we're going to use next the sweep technique, which is also in the book. It's most of my students' favorite techniques. For those of you that join me every month, you'll know you'll know this one. And the hardest part about this is you have to try not to fall asleep, because it is so freaking relaxing that we will see some of you start to nod off. If you do, don't worry. You will still, as long as you're sort of hearing me repeat it, it will still have an effect on you. But please make sure that if you do nod off a little bit, you're in a situation where it's okay. So in other words, you're not like sitting on a stool in your kitchen or something, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and take a drink and then we're gonna start. All right. So the sweep technique is simply a script that you repeat. It's in the book. I also have it on YouTube. And essentially, I created the sweep script. It's a very specific wording to gently get your subconscious mind to let go of old programming that's keeping you stuck. In this specific case, what we're working on is the belief that you can't heal. And you'll see how gentle the wording is. Oops, I hear somebody not unmute. If you think you might have gotten unmuted, please mute yourself. The wording really gently coaxes the subconscious mind into letting go of what's no longer working. Someone said it's on page 87. Thank you. I have the best assistants. They don't even mean to be sometimes, I think. Okay, I'm muting the person who's unmuted. Perfect. All you do for this is put your hands over your heart space, close your eyes. Do not be somewhere where you can fall off a stool, please. And you're going to repeat after me. If you think you could not be on mute, because there's a couple people not on mute, please do not repeat this out loud or you'll be participating very loudly. Even though part of me believes that I can't overcome this, you fill in the blank with the thing that you're trying so hard to overcome. If there's a few things in your life, just go for it, people. Just let's add them all in. I acknowledge that this is no longer working for me. I give my subconscious full permission to help me clear this old belief. From all of my cells in all of my body. I am now free to thank this old belief for serving me in the past, when maybe I really needed it for some reason. I am now free to release all resistances, to letting it go. I am now free to release all ideas that I need this old programming in order to keep myself safe. I am now free to release all ideas that I need to believe. Fill in the blank with whatever you're working with. For most of us, it will be, I can't heal. For any reason at all. I am now free to release all feelings that I don't deserve to let this go. I am now free to release all conscious and subconscious causes for this old belief that's keeping me stuck. I am now free to release all conscious and subconscious reasons for holding on to it. I am now free to release all harmful patterns emotions and memories connected to this old, outdated programming. I am now free to release all generational or past life energies keeping it stuck. All of my being is healing and clearing this energy now. Including any stress response stored in my cells. Healing, healing, healing. Clearing, clearing, clearing. It is now time to install the new belief that I can move forward with ease. Gonna do that one more time, loud and proud. It is now time to install the new belief that I can move forward with ease. Installing, installing, installing. Installing, installing, installing. And so it is done. All right, go ahead and take a big, deep breath. All right, how did everybody do? Good, yeah. I think we're gonna do it one more time and a little bit of a truncated version. Is everybody up for doing it one more time? Did you all get too sleepy? Are you okay? Okay, good. I didn't see anybody that totally conked out. All right. So again, this is working at just reprogramming the subconscious mind. Most of the techniques do. I saw somebody just ask a question. I'll answer this in the break. And they're asking if why tapping and sweeping are not permanent, which is not true. That question must come from their idea that energy work is not permanent. The idea is that we are permanently and completely releasing this energy. That doesn't always mean it happens in 5 minutes, because some issues, especially like depression, anxiety, and chronic illness, have various sort of layers to them. But once you release an energy, it does not typically come back. You are releasing it from your body. You may need to work a little bit to release an energy fully. Like a belief like this may take, I suggest sweeping 2 to 3 times in a row. But once you clear something, a specific emotion, unless you re-experience it, you should be releasing the stuck emotional energy permanently. It should not come back. Does that make sense? You don't need to keep so for instance, when you go through this book, even if you love it so much, I don't want you to go through this book and then start at the front and think you have to keep going through it for the rest of your life. No, once you do the work in the book, you should be good. If new things come up, I do want you to use the techniques again for whatever's coming up for you, because it's life. But you should not need to repeat this book for the rest of your life to feel good, okay? You just got to work through it once, which should be a relief to all of you. Okay, we're going to do a slightly truncated and maybe revised version of this, because I was feeling some stuff come up intuitively. So let's go ahead and put your hands on your heart again, and we'll do it. I'll skip some of them so we're not doing it. We're not doing the whole thing again, but let me just, I lost my page. Hold on. Now I have to find it again. Okay. Even though sometimes I just don't believe, I can really move on from this challenge. It seems easier and more possible for other people. But I acknowledge that holding this perspective is no longer working for me. I give my subconscious full permission to help me clear it from all of my cells in all of my body, permanently and completely. I am now free to release all resistances to letting go of the idea that everyone else can overcome their stuff, but not me. I feel like a lot of you might feel like that, so I'm throwing this in here. All right, let's keep going. I see some smiles. I am now free to release all ideas that I need this challenge in order to stay safe. I am now free to release all conscious and subconscious causes for this challenge. I am now free to release all conscious and subconscious reasons for holding on to this. I am now free to release all harmful patterns, emotions, and memories connected to believing that feeling good is for everybody else but not me. We got to unprogram that for sure. I am now free to release all ideas that I got from my ancestors that are keeping me stuck in old patterns, no longer beneficial for me. All of my being is healing and clearing this energy now. Including any stress response stored in my cells. Healing, healing, healing. Clearing, clearing, clearing. It is now time to install the new belief that no matter what has happened in the past or what my experience has been, I can move forward with ease now. Do it one more time. I can move forward with ease now. Installing, installing, installing. Installing, installing, installing. And so it is done. Yay, take a big deep breath. Someone said amen, sister. Yay, I feel that way too. Okay, take a big deep breath, shake your hands off, take a drink of water. Let me know how you did with that in the chat box. I have a feeling we had a few more converts of students who that's going to be their favorite now. Tell me if you love the sweep technique. And really all you do is read that from the book. I walk you through it, but all you do is read it from the book. Someone said, oh my gosh, so sleepy. So why do we get tired during this technique? It's super relaxing, but also it bypasses the conscious mind and goes to the subconscious mind. And sometimes when our conscious mind gets bored because we don't involve it, it kind of checks out. It also works a little bit, it is not a hypnosis technique, but it works a little bit in the way where it's going in and reprogramming, and we're kind of just like zoned out. And so that's why you can feel a little bit disconnected, or kind of like, I'll have students sometimes or clients say, oh my gosh, was I sleeping? Like, you know, when you don't really know what you were doing for the last 5 minutes and it's kind of scary. That can happen, but it's fine. It's just the process. And the fatigue can be the energy moving as well. So someone said I was slipping into sleep, LOL. The words at ease, hit me strongly. The second round brought tears. Did anybody feel emotional? If you did, you were actually doing a really good job of stuff coming up and out. The real problem and challenge of depression is the stuff is stuck way down. So we're feeling it at a low level all of the time. If it comes up, you're actually doing a good job of releasing it. Now, I don't always cry when I do energy work. In fact, I don't cry very often. So don't worry if you're one of those people that were like, I didn't feel anything, I just repeated. That's totally fine. It will work anyway. But a lot of people do feel emotional because it's coming up and out. Now, I walk you through the book in terms of doing some of these several times because the really sticky techniques you may need, or the really sticky beliefs you may need to clear. But honestly, it's not going to take, it shouldn't take weeks and months to clear. Maybe a few times. And I teach you in the book how to figure out when you're sort of done and can check that off the list. Sounds good? Okay, so now you know how to do EFT. You know how to do the sweep. Are you up for more? Tell me if you're okay to do more. I don't want to tire you all out too much. My monthly students know that I'll just tire them out and then they'll sleep really well, but I don't want to scare anybody else away. Someone says, my mind kept protesting saying this doesn't work. What do I do with that? That's actually some of what we were unprogramming or deprogramming, however we want to say it. Probably neither of them are true, but the subconscious mind will fight healing a lot of times. And what I say is just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. I have people who don't believe this work will work, and it works. So to the best of your ability, try to be curious. I don't even need you to be bought in like, oh, this is going to work for sure, but just be curious. What will happen if I do this? It will be interesting to see if I see a shift. I kind of like that energy more than trying to force yourself to believe it. Make sense? Okay, so next we're going to use Thymus test and tap, which is also super, super easy. It is tapping on the thymus gland, which is about right here. I saw people already go to it. They already know. The thymus gland is the master gland of your immune system, and it is connected energetically to the rest of your body, okay? So it's connected to your entire energy system. When we tap on it, we're using the percussive effect of tapping to send sort of a force of energy through the thymus gland, through the energy system, to sort of swoosh out or force out some of the stuck emotional baggage. I discuss this much more at length in the book, but again, I'd rather spend our time together doing the clearing. So I'm going to walk you through clearing several emotions. There's a chart in the book that shows all the different emotions that we work through, especially when we're dealing with depression. And I teach you in the book how to find emotions that are specific for you, linked to specific things. It's all super easy. I walk you through it. But for the purposes of today, we're going to be releasing anger, grief, fear, traumatized, heavy, unsupported, lonely, and conflicted. And we're going to feel a heck of a lot better after we do that. So we're going to go one by one, and all you have to do is tap. I offer this idea, which you do not have to do, but I like to say, let go, let go, let go, when I'm focused on specifically letting go of an emotion. If you don't, the intention to release it and the tapping alone will do it. But I feel like, I don't know, I'm a Virgo. I go overboard on most things. I like to say, let go, let go, let go. It's sort of giving permission, direction, reassurance to the body in terms of letting go. So let's all just hold the intention right now. You can close your eyes if you want as you tap. That we're going to release anger from the body. And I'm going to say something that you just need to listen to. You do not need to repeat. But I'm going to ask our bodies and our highest selves to find and help us release all stuck energy around anger that we may be storing in our body. There's probably a lot of it because anger is one of those ones that we suppress and depress and push down really far and hope we never see it again. But it usually bubbles up. So let's just tap and let's hold the intention on tapping out anger from our system and repeat after me. Let go, let go, let go. And you could also, if you prefer, say releasing, releasing, releasing. And let's just keep going. In the book, I teach you to tap 7 or more times for each emotion. So we're going to run through these, but since we have some time together, I'm just going to go ahead and do it one more time for anger. This is one of the big 3 emotions that I talk about in the book that are essential to clear. So we'll spend a little more time on it. And in the book, I teach you how to go in and find out what you may be angry about and how to let that go. That even just telling the body to let go of anger will start to shift that and move it out of your body. So let's go ahead and focus again on anger and repeat. Let go, let go, let go. And we're going to move right into the next one, which is another one of the top 3 that I talk about in the book, which is grief. Much of depression is linked to the grief of not having our needs met or not having fulfilled or are not being able to fulfill what we want in our lives. Does anybody resonate with that? Feeling grief over what your life is compared to what you thought it should be, feeling grief over things that you can't have or be or do. I'm getting a lot of yeses. Okay. So I talk a lot about this in the book, but we're going to start to work with this energy now, because with any of the energies we're releasing today, even a tiny bit can create a shift. We're releasing a little bit at a time, and even a little shift can help you feel better. So I'm going to ask all of our highest selves, our subconscious mind, all parts of us to help find and release all energies of grief stuck in our body. Releasing, releasing, releasing. And you can repeat after me. Let go, let go, let go. Let's go back to that. Let's hold the intention on finding and releasing all grief that's stuck in our body. And repeat after me. Let go, let go, let go. All right, we're going to go to the next one, which is the third of the top 3 in the book. It's anger, grief, and fear. This is not fear like I'm scared to cross a bridge. This is fear of being who you really are. This is the type of fear that's most related to depression, the fear of expressing yourself, the fear of being who you really are. So let's ask that our body, our subconscious mind, and our selves find any fear that's holding us back, that's keeping us depressed or suppressed, and let's release it by tapping. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. All right, the next one is feeling traumatized, and this is actually a new one that I added to this book, which is not in my prior books. This is traumatized. Let's go ahead and ask our bodies, our subconscious mind, to seek and find all traumatized energy in our body so we can start to release it today. Let go, let go, let go. You could also say bye, bye, bye if you wanted, or whatever you want to say is good, just so that you give your body the signal to let it go. And we're just holding the intention and using the percussive effect of tapping to clear feeling traumatized out of the body. Let go, let go, let go. Releasing, releasing, releasing. All right, we're going to move on to the next one, which is the energy of heaviness, which is an energy very closely linked to depression, because a lot of times that's how people feel depression. So we're going to ask for our bodies and our subconscious minds to find and release all heavy energy in our body, whatever our body would describe or resonate with as heavy energy. Let's go ahead and tap it out. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. Stay there. What you're doing is perfect. We're going to go to unsupported. Let's go ahead and ask our bodies, subconscious, or our highest selves, our subconscious minds, to find all feelings of feeling unsupported that have gotten stuck in the body. And we're using the thymus gland to tap that energy out. Remember, you can say let go, let go. You can say bye, 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 whatever you want. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. All right, we've got 2 more to go. You guys are all doing a great job. The next one is feeling lonely. This has probably come up more this past year than ever before. So let's go ahead and ask our bodies to find all stuck energies of loneliness and release them from our system. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Releasing, releasing, releasing. All right, one more. Are you tiring out? Are you petering out? Are you all okay? Yeah, a little bit. We're going to take a break after this. The last one is feeling conflicted. This is a huge one, and I talk about resolving inner conflict in the book because it's so important. It keeps us so stuck in limbo. Is there anybody here who's been deciding about leaving a job or changing locations or what to do about a relationship for like years, and it just drains all of your energy because it's exhausting to be stuck in limbo? Something I cover in detail in the book. So let's go ahead and release feeling conflicted. Go ahead and tap, let go. Let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Okay, go ahead and take some big deep breaths. Shake your hands off. That's a lot. I am like sweating and itching and all kinds of things are moving. Get some water, stand up and shake off if you want to. We're doing a lot here, especially for newbies who aren't used to how much I cram into these 90 minutes. Let me know how you're doing, especially if you're a new student of mine, if you just got the book. How are you feeling? And again, this is just a sampling of the techniques. In the book, I walk you through one at a time, just like this, and you follow along. But I want to know how you're feeling, how you're doing. You might be tired. I'm sweating. Yeah, I'm getting like, oh yeah, I'm all of those things too. Tired but better, very cathartic. So many tears. Is that normal? Yes, because you're releasing stuff. I feel like I could go to sleep. Everything is right on point. The nausea I started with is almost gone, feeling good, a little heavy. Okay, good job. It feels like everybody's releasing stuff. So there's a question earlier that I think I'm not being clear about. Someone saying, I do the YouTube videos, the same thing every day and night. Now I'm understanding I need to only do it once. Okay, I see somebody waving their hand. I think I'm confused. Okay, here's the deal. Doing energy work every day is a good thing. But what I like you to do, and I explain this in the book, is to work on different things because there could be, and don't be alarmed by this number, I'm going to get emails about this, there could be 30 different things that are contributing to depression for you. That doesn't mean you need to clear all 30 of them, okay? But I'd rather you work on 20 of them and try to like pick, like get different things from different areas of your body than work on the same 3 every day over and over. Does that make sense? So it's like chipping away at a rock. I would have you, if there was like I always think of geodes. If I was having you try to find the crystals, I would say chip off a little bit here and there and look for the crystals inside versus just staying in one place. There's so many different ways that we can get to the core of ourselves that I always think that if you work through one belief here and something that happened last week and then anger and a little sadness, it will be more helpful altogether than if every day you just work on anger. Does that make sense to everybody? You're just getting a little bit here and there from your life. And that's what I did to heal myself. And that's what I always walk through my students through, which is why today we're doing a lot of different things. If we just did one thing, there would be some of you that felt better, for sure. But this way, if we do lots of little things, we're sort of chipping away at lots of different little emotional blocks or heavy energy, and we're lightening the load overall. And so I feel like that's a more effective way to do it. And also then you won't get bored of doing the same video or the same script every day. Okay, someone says they're beating themselves up because I feel like nothing happened. Is that normal? That's totally fine. So I typically don't have a big emotional reaction when I release energy, but it worked for me anyway. Some people feel it, some don't. It's no big deal. Sometimes I'll cry, but it's not common. Sometimes I have students that cry through all of the techniques. That's okay too. It's just your own personal releasing. Someone says, they're asking me about teen depression. Is there support for this, or do you provide this elsewhere? So teens can use this book. A huge portion of my readers are teens for all my books. These techniques really are easy enough. I teach some of these techniques to kids as young as 5 years old when I work in hospitals. So any age can use this. Obviously, just check with their doctor, that whole thing. But there should be no problem with a teen using these techniques. And in fact, teens love these techniques because they don't have to talk to anybody else. You can almost always get a teen on board if you tell them you don't have to talk. And even when they're tapping, they don't have to say it out loud. I've had many sessions with teens over the years when I actually don't make them say anything out loud. I always just say, tap on your head, tap on the top of your head and think about how you're feeling. And they love me because I don't make them say anything. And that is often enough to move the energy. Okay. Does everybody feel like you could do a little bit more, and then we'll move on to some more questions? Okay, everybody doing good? Hold on, let's see. Someone said, I do agree about the techniques, but it's the feeling that they have had long-term issues that I seem to not be able to get them to read the book because of that, right? Do people on this call have people in their life they really want to help, but the person won't read a book or won't do? Okay, I do talk about that in the book. The easiest way to help somebody who doesn't want to get help is to ask them if they would try something with you for 2 minutes and to literally lead them and put a very short time span on it. Sometimes if you give somebody who's really drowning emotionally a book, this looks like way too much. Once you start reading the book, has anybody started reading the book yet? Once you start reading the book, you'll see that I put the emphasis on not doing too much at once for this exact reason. Because who that feels like shit can commit to even reading a whole book, right? So in the book, I talk about how important it is just to do a few minutes a day, just to do what I call micro movements, one little thing. If you sat here for 2 minutes and did something, I would be so happy. And then you could do 2 minutes tomorrow. So if you have someone that you are trying to help in your life, and this is what I've done, is I'll say, would you try something with me for 2 minutes? And maybe you just walk them through doing the tapping points. Maybe you read the sweep script and ask them just to listen. They don't even have to say anything. That's enough to start helping somebody in your life. Does that help? So it's just like, try the smallest thing ever. Otherwise, you'll scare them away, okay? Someone said, can you describe the exact location to be tapping on the bone, above where the bone comes? Okay, so for the collarbone point, the exact place is if you find the notch in your neck and you go an inch below and then slide either side just under your collarbone. It's just here, but it's on either side. It's not really super specific. It's just under your collarbone, essentially. Okay. That's where you tap. This is also, I'll give you a shortcut. This is actually a really good place for tapping for fear. Oh, someone's saying sorry for the thymus gland. The thymus gland is about an inch below where a bow tie sits. So just right here. And you'll kind of, some people feel like there's a raised area in your chest for most people, and it's under there. It's behind your breastbone. You can't feel it. Tanya says she's been doing 5 to 10 minutes with her mom, and it's been amazing for both of them. Yay. So that's the deal, is do short spurts more often. That will help you feel better faster than trying to sit down for an hour at a time. Okay. So let's see. Is there anything else that I can answer really quickly? Does it matter which side or hand you tap with? No, not in my method. Literally over the years, I've heard all these crazy rules that I didn't even know were rules. You can't, your feet have to be touching the floor. You can't be sitting by a window. You have to tap with both hands. I'm like, I never heard of these things. But I really don't have any rules. You could tap with one hand. I tap with one hand on one side. You could tap with two hands on both sides. You could start on this. You could cross. It doesn't really matter. Do it. Listen, do it however you'll do it, right? Do it however you'll do it. That's what I say. Because if it becomes too complicated, you won't do it. At least that's how I am, right? If it's too hard, do you all do something? I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use that. So do it however you will actually use it, because whichever way you use it, it will work. When you use it, it will work. So if you're tapping this side and then your arm gets tired and you tap this side, that will work. The energy system runs through the whole body, so the sides don't matter. Okay, yay. I think I got it. Okay, someone's asking me one exercise for a tween. What would it be? Okay, you're all going to learn an extra exercise today. It's in the book, but I'm going to show it to you. An alternative to EFT is alternate temple tapping. Who has tried it before? All my students have tried it before. I know, yes. Who of students or anybody who's tried it before prefers alternate temple tapping to EFT? Okay, then we're going to have to show the rest of them. We're going to have to show the rest of them, because if anybody didn't like the EFT, now you're going to get this. Okay, so alternate temple tapping is tapping alternately on your temples while you think about or talk about what you're stressed about. That's it. I created this technique which includes tapping on the parts of your energy system that govern fight, flight, or freeze, which is what puts you in overwhelm mode. So if you tap on these points, I already see smiles like, thank God I never have to use EFT again. I'm all about this alternate temple tapping. If you alternately tap on your temples like this, it will release stress and all the emotional baggage from your body in the same as EFT, but it also engages the triple warmer meridian, which is an energy pathway that governs the fight, flight, or freeze. So by tapping, you're actually calming your stress response. So if I could only teach one technique to a tween or anybody, this is what I would teach. And this is the first book that alternate temple tapping's in, because I came up with it. I created it in the last couple of years. So if there's only one thing you can do, you're sitting there stressed out and you feel so depressed and you don't know what to do, I would do alternate temple tapping, and this is all there is to it. I explain it more in depth in the book, but does that give you an idea? Does that give you a shortcut? So in the book, I do teach EFT, but I also say, if you don't like it, you don't have to use it, okay? I teach a few tapping techniques, but I let you choose which tapping technique you want. And then throughout the book, when it says to use tapping, you choose which tapping technique you use. How many of you already know that you're going to use alternate temple tapping instead of anything else I've told you to do? Yes. Okay. I got some really honest people. I tend to use different techniques. Sometimes I'll use EFT, sometimes I'll use temple tapping. But if you find one that you really love, you can just use that. I just want you to use it. Okay, so we are going to go. Someone said, thank you so much. Will be gold for my ADHD kid. Yay. So someone's saying, do you say anything with the alternate temple tapping? You do the same thing that you would do with EFT, which is talk about or think about the emotions you want to bring up to clear. So if you were sitting there totally stressed out, which sometimes I do, this is how I do alternate temple tapping. I'm so stressed out. I have so much to do. My body just feels so stressed out. I just feel frozen. I'm literally just giving a voice to my feelings and tapping. I sound crazy and like a broken record, but about 5 minutes later, I feel so much better. So that's what you do with any of the tapping techniques. You talk about how you feel and you tap at the same time. That's it. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to one more technique, and then we're going to install some positive emotions, which is going to feel so good and be so easy. And then we're going to do the energy readings that I know you're all waiting for, and I will explain those as well. Okay, so we're going to do one more sweep about basically to kind of help us release the programming around letting other people's energies take over in our lives. Who needs it? See, most of you need it. There's a few lucky souls that don't seem to need it, but I'm going to say you should do it anyway, just in case there's someone in your life that's or their energy is kind of overwhelming you. Okay, so hands over your heart again, and repeat after me. If you have a certain person that you feel like constantly triggers you, I want you to just briefly think of that person now. If you have a big long list, I'll let you think of your big long list of people, okay? And I see some people laughing like, oh, I know who that person is. And I actually did this the other day around a certain person. So let's go ahead and clear this energy around other people's energies taking over our stuff. Even though sometimes I feel like other people have more power over me and my happiness than I have over myself, especially, go ahead and name them, people. I acknowledge it's no longer working for me. I give my subconscious full permission to help me clear this old pattern from all of my cells in all of my body. Permanently and completely. I am now free to thank this old energy for serving me in the past. When maybe I needed it for some reason. I am now free to release all resistances to letting go of the pattern of letting other people have more power over me than I have over myself. I am now free to release all ideas that I need this for any reason at all. I am now free to release all feelings that I don't deserve to release, being triggered by those around me, especially, fill in the blank. I'll let you name them here. I am now free to release all conscious and subconscious causes for this belief that other people have more power over me than I have over myself. I am now free to release all conscious and subconscious reasons for holding on to it. I am now free to release all harmful patterns, emotions, and memories connected to these triggers I have with others. I am now free to release all generational or past life energies keeping me stuck. All of my being is healing and clearing this energy now, including any stress response stored in my cells. Healing, healing, healing. Clearing, clearing, clearing. It is now time to install the new belief that I have more power over myself and my happiness than anyone else. Installing, installing, installing. Installing, installing, installing. And so it is done. Yay, take a big deep breath, shake your hands off. You all did such a good job. That was a lot of releasing. Stand up if you need to, take a drink of water. I'm gonna get my water. How are you all feeling? I want to answer one quick question because I saw it come up twice. Someone said, I don't want to be skeptical, but I've had some relief over the years and I keep getting stuck. So what I would say in this instance is either there's a pattern that's recurring that hasn't been resolved, or there's something else you haven't gotten to. Not in any way to put blame. This is not a blame thing. It's just that sometimes along the way we miss a piece. So if something coming back, there may be a belief like, I don't deserve to be happy or healthy. There may be an unresolved trauma that you haven't gotten to, or a little thing that just keeps kind of stirring in the system that's not allowing you to move totally past it. And it's okay to be skeptical. We don't expect anybody to jump headfirst and never question. That's not what this work or any work is about. It's just being curious about what might be stuck that if you released could help you feel better. Does that make sense? So you don't need to feel bad if you feel skeptical or if you're not totally on board. That's okay. I was actually like that when I started this work. I am a skeptic. I am a very science-minded person, and energy psychology actually has tons of science behind it. I actually teach this work in hospitals, which do not let you in unless you can show that there are studies behind the modalities you use. But that's besides the point. The idea is to stay curious, be open, do not blame yourself. That is not going to help anybody. What we're here to do is see what we can release to feel better. It doesn't matter where it came from, who started it. It's not about that. It's just about continuing to look at pieces that might be keeping us stuck. Okay, a couple people say, thank you, very light. Is that last clearing script in the book? Yes. So the sweep is in the book. All the tapping techniques are in the book. Everything we did today is in the book. Someone says, how would you compare this to EMDR? So EMDR is a type of therapy where you need a therapist to help you. Typically, you can't do all the parts of EMDR on your own. All of my work is self-healing tools that you can do quickly, that you don't need a therapist. If you're working on a very deep trauma, I do say if you feel really triggered, it can be beneficial to work with a therapist. But generally speaking, my work is how to heal yourself when no one else can. Meaning all of the techniques are safe and effective to use by yourself, and none of them, and all the ways that I teach them are for you to use them by yourself. Someone says, when are you taking new clients again? So I have an assistant practitioner that takes on new clients. She's amazing. I actually send my own family members and friends to her. She's totally trained by me, uses all the same techniques. I am not currently working with clients because I'm writing books. I can only help clients one-on-one, but I can help so many more if I write books and do YouTube videos and do classes. But if you do need help, you can go to my website if you need one-on-one support. Let's see, I just want to make sure I'm getting all of these. Um, is there a script for releasing energy from spirits that had a body before, stuck in us from clients or other people? So in the book, I talk about if you've taken on energy from other people in whatever way you perceive that or feel that, I will help you clear it. So that's basically being an empath or picking up on other people's energy. Does anybody else have any questions? How is everybody doing? Tell me honestly, because I will not be offended. If you're new, if you're new to this work, was that super weird? I just kind of want to know because I'm like in an echo chamber with all of my clients. Someone said they're hungry. Someone said a little weird. Thank you for being honest. I thought it was weird when I started too, and then I was like, it works. I guess I'll just be weird, right? But I'm just curious about new people coming in if they're like, this girl is kind of weird. Tired but interesting. Um, this is new per my Lyme doctor. No, it's not weird because it works. I love it. I liked it. I know energy therapies. How is it different from affirmation work? This is so different from affirmation work because we're not using affirmations. We really aren't. Sometimes at the end of tapping, we're like wrapping up in a cute, positive way by going, I can feel better now. It's really only to end on a positive note. I am actually not a fan of affirmations. If they work for you, that's great. But many people affirmations don't work for because if you're affirming something you don't believe, it can if you're really really stubborn like I am, in the back of your mind, you're going that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And then you're affirming that's not true like 5,000 times a day. So this work, there are no affirmations in this book. This is an affirmation-free zone. Some of you will be happy to hear that. Carol says it works. Someone else says, how did you come up with all of this? I tell this story in my book, and I'm not going to rehash it because so many people know, but I came up with all this work because I went through a decade of chronic illness, anxiety, depression, and had to find a way to heal myself because nothing else worked. And it was during that time that I discovered the mind-body connection and just how much our emotions affect our physical body, affect our chemistry, our neurons, our hormones. And that connection for me was what led me to a different way, which is energy therapy or energy psychology, to release stuck emotions from the body. Because I was like a therapy person and I went to therapy and never felt better. Not that therapy is not useful, but for me, I needed a way to actually like get the stuff out of my body. Does that make sense? For those of you that find talking helpful, but then at a certain point, it's like, okay, well, I'm really smart. I understand. I'm aware of my problems or challenges. Okay, now how do I get them out of my system? And so that's when I came up with this work. And some of it isn't mine. EFT is not mine. The sweep is mine. Alternate temple tapping is mine. But working with the body's energy system to release stuck emotions is old work. So many ancient modalities, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, releasing stuck energy, whether it's emotional or not, are ancient healing modalities. And so I just kind of put my own spin on them. And when I say my own spin, I mean, I had to be able to do them myself. They had to be fairly quick because I'm impatient, and they had to work. So this work came from me not being able to heal despite all the best medicine and therapies in the world. Essentially, I went all the way to India, which was helpful, but I didn't heal permanently and completely until I did this work. So that's why I know it so well. I believe in it. Even being somebody who is skeptical of things that were woo-woo, look what happened to me because it worked. Okay, someone says, I love ATT. Thank you for all you do. How do we connect with the person that takes clients? So you can go to my website. Someone says you definitely don't look depressed anymore. No, definitely not. So this work really, a little bit a day can hugely shift how you feel. And I'm not overstating that. I mean, 5 minutes of energy work doesn't always make you feel better, but I will say oftentimes it does. So just start really small, okay? So in just a moment, we're going to go into energy readings and I'm going to explain those, but I want to tell you a couple of other things in case you're interested. So you all have the book. I also just put together what I call an official ambassador program. If you love the book and are willing to leave a review on Amazon and share the book with a few family and friends, I'm going to do another free 90-minute session like this. And we'll cover different topics. It's not going to be a repeat, but I'm going to do that as a gift for anybody who does feel called to leave a review or share it with friends. That's all you have to do. Super simple. If you go to my website, to amybshare.com/ambassador, you will find out how to sign up. We're going to do another class, and then I also give you lots of other free goodies. Can somebody put that in the chat box for me? It's my website/ambassador. I'll send out an email as well. But if you're interested in leaving a review, if you like the book, or even if you don't, all honest reviews are welcome. I would love to have you as an ambassador and do more work together. It's just a way that I can give you some goodies and gifts for helping me spread the word. I also do classes every month that are 90 minutes, just like this, same format if you liked it. They're $39 for a class, and you get the recording forever. So watch out for that if you feel like you want to do more classes. I also try to put up lots of free stuff on YouTube and on my website. So there's that as well. Okay, so now we are going to do some energy readings, and let me tell you how it works. So basically what you're going to do, let me tell you what an energy reading is before you decide if you want to volunteer. I see people laughing like, I do kind of want to know what I'm raising my hand for. So energy readings are something I do at the end of my classes. And what I do is I tune into a person's energy, and I am able to intuitively pick up on what blockages, emotional blockages they may have that they can work on to feel better. All of the techniques to work on the blockages will be in this book. You don't need anything except the thing you already have, okay? I will be able to pick out one thing per person. Even if I feel a few blocks for you, I'll pick out something that is relevant, that you can clear in a few minutes, that will help you feel better. And you'll kind of have to just see how they go. Do I need to tell you anything else? I don't think so. Okay, so if you want to volunteer, and everybody make sure you're on mute, this is all going to be by chat. If you want to volunteer, please type in the box your name and age. That's it. I'm going to let them all come through, and then I will do my best to do a bunch of them for you. Okay, all you brave people. I love it. All right, I hear somebody off mute. I see a lot of hands. I'm going to try to get to as many people as I can. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll, and I'm going to pick you all just randomly. I don't know many of you on here. I will say your first name and your age, and then I'm going to tune into your energy system. I'm not going to tell you anything scary. I'm not looking for anything physical, so don't freak out. I'm basically looking for stuck energy in the body, and then what you can do to feel better. Has anybody ever gone to like a medium or a medical intuitive or something, and they tell you what's wrong, and then you hang up and you're like, what am I supposed to do with all this? I'm not only going to tell you what I see as blocking you, I will also tell you exactly what to do using my techniques to clear it. The coolest part about when I do energy readings is I really do believe and have seen over the years that these groups are or universally orchestrated. So something I say, if I say something to somebody and you think, oh my gosh, that sounds like me, you write it down too, okay? These homework assignments are never just for one person. I have students that write me that go, I didn't get called on, but I left with 10 homework assignments. So I want that to happen to you too, so that you have specific things to work on that will help you feel better. And if I feel that it's for everybody, which often happens, I will say, this feels like it's for everybody. Everybody needs to do this. So make sure you have a notebook or some way to type, okay? All right, I'm going to start to go through them now. Okay, so the first one I'm going to go to is Heidi 63. You don't need to say anything or do anything. If you see me close my eyes, I'm not falling asleep. I'm just intuitively tuning in. Heidi 63, I'm going to do your reading, and I'm just going to see what comes up for you. Okay, so for Heidi, I'm feeling a lot of energy is actually stuck in her heart chakra. I don't know Heidi, and I also don't know what symptoms she has, but sometimes if you have energy stuck in your heart chakra, you will have chest symptoms, neck and shoulders, and upper back. So everybody else listen if that applies to you. If it doesn't apply to you, hang tight. These only take about a minute per person, and I'll be on to the next one. So what I'm feeling for Heidi is this belief that I'm not good enough. Again, I don't know Heidi, and unless she emails me later and tells me, I'm not going to know exactly what this is from. But if anybody else feels like they have a mantra in their head that I'm not good enough, then you listen to Heidi's homework and you do it too. So I'm not good enough is a mantra that can make you feel like absolute shit because all day you are reaching to try to prove that you're good enough. Usually not only to people in your life, but also to yourself. And it is freaking exhausting. So what you're going to do for this is use the sweep technique, and I'm going to have you do it 5 times. I know that sounds like a lot, but you'll get so used to this. The sweep is going to be like so easy for you. And you're going to fill in, there's 2 fill in the blanks in the sweep script. The first fill in the blank is the belief that you release, which is this belief that I'm not good enough. So just write down release this belief that I'm not good enough. And the second fill in the blank in the script is the belief to install. And we're going to install the new belief that I am good enough. And that's the reprogramming Heidi needs to do. And anybody else that is like shaking their head right now, you are also going to do that homework. Okay, all good? Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to do Mary 56. Mary 56. So let me look at just Mary's energy and see what's coming up. Okay, so for Mary, I'm actually getting a specific age where it feels like trauma is stuck. And there's probably so many Marys. I hope there's not more than one Mary at 56. Okay, Mary 56, I'm feeling like there's energy stuck from age 12 for you. Whatever is going on for you, it feels like age 12 is the age where a lot of the trauma and stress is anchored, okay? So I want you to do any kind of tapping, and you'll find all 3 types of tapping in the book for age 12. And what that means is you'll talk and tap about the memories you remember from age 12. If you remember one specific incident, that would be really helpful. And you're going to tap while you talk about it to release that stress or experience from your body, okay? So age 12 feels like there's stuff stuck there that's still affecting you today. Sometimes I wish I could talk to all these. Sometimes somebody will type in the box, that's right, or email me later. But okay, so that's Mary's homework. Okay, hold on, let me just scroll. I'll try to get a bunch of different people. Somebody is not on mute. Can you? Hold on, it's the same person again. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, whoever keeps unmuting themselves, try to keep yourself on mute. Okay, the next person is Chris, age 38, and I'm going to look at Chris's energy and just see what comes up for Chris. Okay, so what's coming up around Chris's energy, and I think a lot of you will probably raise your hand to this, is energy around Chris's mom. Now, this could be coming up for a few different reasons, but it feels like energy needs to be released in relationship to Chris and his mom and that relationship. Let me just see if I can figure out exactly what that is. That way, if others of you are thinking, oh, this could be good for me too. I just want to see what specifically is coming up around mom. What this is for Chris, and if anybody else resonates, write this down, is a real like people-pleasing energy, a real people-pleasing energy. Does anybody else relate to that around their mom? I am only doing this for example. I'm not raising my hand because I don't happen to have that with my mom. But there's a people-pleasing energy. What I'm going to tell you to do will work if you have a people-pleasing energy around anybody. It can be your dad, your brother, your boss. So listen to what this is. This person is going to do it for energy. Chris is going to do it for energy linked to their mom. But if you have a drive or pressure around people pleasing, I want you to do the sweep 4 times to release this belief. I have to make others happy in order to be safe. Go ahead and write that down. I have to make others happy in order to be safe. And the install is I can be safe no matter what. So that's the fill in the blank for the last, that's the phrase for the last fill in the blank. How many people may not have issues with their mothers, but feels that they do have people-pleasing issues or worries? Okay, so you can direct this in that way by doing it specifically for, like, generally like that, and then Chris will do it specifically for their mother. Okay, next one is Mike 50. Let me see what's coming up for Mike. Okay, so for Mike, this is really interesting. So for Mike, this feeling of being undeserving is what's coming up most. And it feels like there was, and I want everybody to listen. So when you feel like you're undeserving at some level, undeserving of health, happiness, a lot of times this manifests as pain, physical pain in the body. I don't know if this is true for Mike, but for anybody out there, if you have physical pain, it is often linked to feeling undeserving because the brain and the body interprets pain as punishment. And so if you feel like you deserve to be punished for some reason at a subconscious level, it will often come up as pain in the body, back pain, migraines, whatever it is. This, I don't know if Mike has pain or not. I'm just giving some context for this. For Mike, I'm feeling like this feeling of undeserving is coming up, which means for Mike specifically, I think that there was probably something in the past that he does not forgive himself about. It might feel like fired from a job or screwed something up. There's something there that he hasn't come to peace with within himself. So let me tell Mike two ways to deal with this, and I will make it more general for the rest of you who also want to do this homework too, okay? So number one is the sweep to clear the belief, I am undeserving of health and happiness. If you are a person who beats yourself up, this is a really great one to do. The first fill in the blank in the sweep script is the one you're going to let go of, and it's this belief of being undeserving of health and happiness. The new belief you want to install is I can move on now and deserve good things. That's what you're going to install. I would be shocked if not all of you, or at least most of you, the vast majority of you did not need to clear this on this call. I see some of my students shaking their head like, oh yeah, we do, they know. So I would like for everybody who plans on doing homework to write this down. The other thing that I want Mike and anyone else who resonates with this to do is close your eyes right now for a moment and think of one thing you feel like you can't forgive yourself for, and write down the first thing that comes up. One thing you screwed up, one thing that happened that you're still beating yourself up about. It may be something small that you've never looked at or something that you wouldn't think was the biggest, but whatever came up first is the thing that's keeping you stuck. And what I would do for that is use tapping. You could use alternate temple tapping. And I teach you in this book how to go back to an old experience or something that happened. And there's a script on how to tap through that. But essentially what you're going to do is use the tapping technique to release unprocessed experiences or trauma from the book, okay? And the script will be there to help you do that. Like I said, this is so weird when I'm doing energy readings and I can't see, but I'm curious if Mike, email me later or text me. I want to see if I see a thumbs up. So this is a really good way when people are wondering what from my past is stuck. You see how I asked that question and I made you pick the first thing? Raise your hand if you were kind of surprised what popped up. Was anybody like, oh, that's weird? Right. Okay, so the subconscious mind will usually push forward the thing that you need to clear. And it won't be the most obvious thing because that's why we need to do these kind of exercises. Most of us who are really tuned into ourselves and are doing this work have worked on a lot of things, right? But what my work and my book teaches you to do is work on things that you haven't worked on. Work on things that aren't obvious, because those are the things that usually get you unstuck. And you saw that, many of you just saw that in that example of the first thing that comes to mind, because many of us have been to therapy talking about all the obvious things forever and we don't feel better. But this work will help you find the thing that was hidden back there that you didn't really think of. And those are usually the things that keep people stuck. Out of the decade I've had working with clients, the thing that keeps most people stuck is the small thing that they then tell me, oh, I didn't really think that was such a big deal, because they've talked about all the big traumas. They've been to a therapist. It's the time that, someone made fun of their shoes in second grade. Like those are the kind of things that keep us stuck, less than the big traumas that we've gotten help and support for. Does that make sense? So this work is sometimes about finding the seemingly smaller things to get us unstuck. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to go and pick a few more. You might hear my voice getting raspy. Diane 66. Let's go with you and let me see what comes up. Okay, so for Diane, I'm getting energy linked to the crown chakra, which I explain in the book as the energy center for feeling guided and connected. For Diane, I feel this sense, and probably a lot of you will relate to this, especially in the last year, a sense of feeling lost or just kind of like wandering around, not knowing what's next. Does anybody feel like that? Like, what the heck are we all going to do when we get out of our houses, right? And some of you may have sort of used this time this year to figure out, to realize or figure out what's next, or what can I do, or I don't want to do this, or something needs to change, that kind of thing. So this feels like just like a lost energy. And what I would suggest for this is doing some tapping on feeling like I'm afraid or don't know about what's next, and tapping through that what's next question. And it will look something like, I'll just show you. I don't know what's next. I feel so freaked out that I don't know what's next. I really need to make a change, but I don't know what's next. It's so stressful to not know what to do next. I feel really stuck. Do you see how tapping is all about just bringing up how I already feel and adding the tapping to release the stressful energy? Because most of the time when you release the stressful energy, you at least get a clarity of what to do next, or what's keeping you stuck, or what will help you feel better. So what's next tapping should be on everybody's list if you feel like you resonated with what I talked about for Diane. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more and then we're going to close. We're running a little late. Thanks everybody for sticking with me. Okay, Linda T69. I'll do this one and then one more, and we'll do a quick 2-minute closing of installing positive emotions. Okay, so Linda T69. Let me see what's coming up. Okay, Linda T, I think you're going to bring up a situation that we all need some help with, which is I feel like Linda's adrenal glands are struggling. Does anybody have adrenal fatigue or know that their adrenal glands? Okay, Linda feels like her adrenal glands are really struggling, and your adrenal glands are actually the glands in your system that regulate with stress, and stress, basically stress hormones. And so I feel like for Linda, this is a big one. One thing that really, really drains adrenal glands is feeling tired of fill in the blank. So I want everybody to close their eyes. I'm going to ask you this question, and you're going to write down the first answer, not the most obvious. What are you tired of? What are you tired of? And write it down. And what I want you to do is do the sweep for this. And you can do the sweep 3 times. And the first fill in the blank is this stressful energy from being tired of, and you just fill in the blank. The fill in the blank at the end to install is going to be to install the new energy of vitality and balance. Okay, I think we could all probably make a list. You might need to do that sweep a few times for different things you're tired of, but that I'm so tired of dealing with this work situation, or I'm so tired of dealing with this illness, or I'm so tired of dealing with myself. Does anybody else feel like that? We talk about this a lot in my regular classes with my students. We just get tired of dealing with ourselves. It seems like not everyone is doing all this work and they're fine, walking around, seems like nothing's bothering them. So sometimes we get drained from being what we might consider so high maintenance, right? It's just tiring to deal with our emotions all the time, or to deal with ourselves. And so that may be something that you want to work on as well using the sweep. Okay, I'm going to do one more because I feel like my voice is on the fritz. Okay, so I'm going to go with, let me go all the way back up. Crystal 50. Crystal 50. All right. Okay, let me see what's coming up for Crystal. I'm going to go from there. Okay, this is coming up really strongly for Crystal. And the energy is, I don't know who I really am. I don't know who I really am. And there may be others of you on this call who feel like that because you've, again, what we're talking about, right? Depression, you feel like you've been buried by life or everything's kind of toppled over you and you don't know who you are anymore. This is a really good one for tapping because it can bring clarity about who you really are. But even if that doesn't happen right away, it can release enough stuff so that you can start to feel who you really are, so that you can make decisions from who you really are instead of feeling disconnected from that person. So I would do tapping about that. And I would talk about, I don't even know who I really am. Maybe it's, I'm so busy taking care of everybody else. I don't know who I really am. I don't get to, do anything I want. I feel so disconnected. Whatever it is, I would do some tapping on, I don't know who I really am. Okay. I don't know who I really am. All right, I'm going to take one more drink of water and then we're going to install some positive emotions. So hopefully you wrote at least a couple of things down for homework for yourself. You will also, of course, have tons of homework in the book that I take you through, but you may want to just note, I feel like the publisher, did they put blank pages in the back? Sometimes they put blank pages in the back, but I would suggest getting a notebook for this work so that you can take notes. And as you think of things, you add them. The very back of this book has tons and tons and tons of ideas on what to do for very specific things like nightmares or, like really specific things that can be linked into depression. And so you may want to just keep a notebook of things that you want to work on. And then through the book, I'll be teaching you how to address various things you may be struggling with. And you'll just do it step by step, 5-10 minutes a day at a time. Okay. All right. We're going to end on installing some positive emotions. And the way that we do that is by tapping on the thymus gland in the same way that we do for clearing emotions, but we're going to hold the intention on tapping this energy in or this unique energetic vibration in. And I did test these intuitively before we did the call, and I already wrote down which ones we're going to do. So the first one is feeling connected. So let's ask that our bodies install the energy of connected deep into our systems. Tap this energy in. Installing, installing, installing. Go ahead and repeat after me. Installing, installing, installing. Installing, installing, installing. All right. The next one is feeling included. So go ahead and install feeling included. This is a good one, especially for this year. And I love these group classes for this exact reason, because it brings all of our energy together. We see each other's faces and we're doing this powerful work together. So installing, installing, installing. We're installing included, the feeling of included. Installing, installing, installing. And we're going to go ahead and install one more, which is valued. And this self-value is the most important to be thinking of here. So go ahead. We'll ask our bodies to install the energetic imprint or energy of valued. Installing, installing, installing. Installing, installing, installing. And so it is done. All right, take a big deep breath. How's everybody feeling? Are you exhausted? Did I tire you out? I see some people clapping, some people saying, let me take a nap now, Amy. That was a long time. And I'm going to be sending out a recording of this. If you want to do some of it over, if you just didn't catch all of it, I'm getting a lot of thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I had such a great time with all of you. Thank you. This feels like a whole new celebration for my book. This book that came out is like my pride and joy because I cried through writing half of it, which I do share in the book. But it came out exactly how I wanted it to. And it's so special to see it in so many of your hands and just know the shifts that are going to happen. And I would love if anybody feels drawn to it to join me for future classes. I send them out. I post them on Facebook for anybody who's interested. And we cover different things every time, so they're not a repeat. And again, anybody who is interested in leaving a review, an honest review of the book, could just be a few sentences. I have lots of goodies for you, so you can go to my website, and it's amybshare.com/ambassador. I am also always open for questions. I love to help everybody. I try to get back to everybody's emails in a timely manner. You can post to my groups in Facebook. Yay, I love seeing all this. Awesome, awesome. Your work is amazing. Thank you. This is bullshit that works. I love that. This is bullshit that works, because I always talk about how I thought all of this mind body stuff was BS until I was like, okay, well, nothing else is working. Let me try. So I love that so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really powerful. Yay. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm sending you all the love and healing. And I hope that you feel when you read the book that I am there with you every step of the way. Hopefully that's not annoying, but I am, because I want everybody to know 5 to 10 minutes a day, and you can do it too. Okay. I hope to see you all in the future. Thank you again for joining. Bye, everybody. Bye. Mwah, mwah. Bye. Bye.